Yo, what's going on, gamers? Second character from the anniversary finally came out, and of course, it's Finny. Um, and to be honest with you, I think she's kind of good, and she's free. So even if she was bad, she's still free technically. So it's not that big of a deal. But she's good. I think she's really good. I really like her. Based off the limited time I've had using her, like because I think she came out like yesterday. Uh, So yeah, let's just jump into talking about her and her kit and how she works. She's not too complicated. She's actually very simple with some minor things, but I'll talk about that later. But let's talk about her standard skill. Um, Now on the surface, this looks like a lot, but in reality, it's really not. Uh, Basically, how her standard skill works is that when you use the standard skill, depending on which direction you're moving in, determines what version of the star gem clip that you get. So if you're holding any of the side directions, you get the ruby clip with 30 bullets, and it increases your kinetic damage. I believe it's 20%. Yeah, it's 20%. So you get a 20% kinetic damage increase for each shot. And also, each use of the skill consumes 15 S energy, if anyone needs to know that. But the next one is that if you're dashing forward, you get the gold version of the Star Gem clip. It comes with 10 bullets, and basically your shot deal explosive damage, which increases your final damage, but it doesn't crit. And if you dash backwards, you get the Sapphire version with 30 bullets, and all it does is restore S energy with each hit. I believe each restore is about one. So yeah, you get one S energy per hit, or if you use the full magazine to hit every shot, it's 30 S energy in total. Um, that's how our standard skill works for the most part. Things to do keep in mind with the standard skill, even though I believe the support skill works similarly as well. Uh, when you use the skills, bullets that are shot from the skills are considered as normal ballistic ammo and cannot be affected by aptitude bonuses. I'm not 100% sure on what that means specifically, but the only time I've seen aptitude things are in the Shadow Raid, the Paradox of Labyrinth, or whatever. I just need somebody to explain that to me because I got no idea what that is. But moving on from that, whenever Finny shoots, it consumes a Star Gem clip before using other bullets in her magazine. I'll talk about that a bit later because that's actually very important to remember. Star Gem clip shooting is considered normal shooting. Star Gem clip cannot be replenished by any other means, i.e., if you have some skill that puts ammo into the magazine, like 4-star Finny's support skill with one of the neuro skills puts ammo into magazines. I believe whenever you hit an enemy. So I believe that if that extra bonus doesn't apply to Star Gem clip or even a support skills clip. Um, and also, well, this cannot stack with other special magazine effects. This also applies to the support skill. Um, that one is actually kind of big because if you're like me and you lack supports, a character I typically use because of Katya or even Yao to a degree is the 4-star Phrydia, Little Sunshine. Her support skill basically shoves thermal bullets into the fucking magazine, and your shots would do an additional thermal damage based off her attack. That does not work with Star Gem Clip, so you have to keep that in mind, or even the support skill either. Basically, what ends up happening is that when you have the special magazine active, until you run out of ammunition in that special magazine, you don't get that extra thermal damage with Phrydia's support skill. But once you start using like the normal ammo from the normal magazine, that's when you start to get the effects of the thermal damage. So Phrydia and Finny don't work well together. So yeah. Um, Also, as well, what I did want to talk about is the uh, consuming the clip before any other bullets in the magazine. This one's big for me because what this means is that essentially your magazine size like doubles and then some. So you don't technically have to reload. So you don't have to do any of the reload animations until you use the normal ammunition. So for example, let's say Finny has 30 bullets in her regular magazine, and then you use her skill to add an additional 30 on top of it. Until you consume all 60 of them, basically, or the normal magazine, you won't have to reload. Therefore, you're gonna save extra time by not reloading, and that's kind of big for me because I'm gonna like loosely talk about some team ideas, even though they're probably quirky. uh, because of that. But I'll talk about that a bit later. Um, Next thing I want to talk about is a support skill. This is pretty much what you're using 90% of the time, if not 100. Like, unless you're main DPSing Fenny, you're not using the all Alexander skill. Um, but anyway, Finney provides something called a Starstone clip for the deployed operative. The ammo capacity is 100% of the deployed operative's weapon plus 3% of the Finney's weapon. So, like, if your character has 80 bullets in the magazine, you get 80 bullets plus whatever 3% of Finney's weapon would be. It's probably like an extra 3 because I believe it's probably like 30, 31 bullets, somewhere around that ballpark. Um, when these special bullets or whenever you deal damage with this magazine, the deployed operative's attack increases. This is 20% of Finney's attack, so do keep that in mind. For crossbows, because if you don't know, crossbows have infinite ammo. Basically, the clip is 40 bullets for normal firing and 15 for special firing. So for Katya, whenever you're using the rapid fire mode, basically you get 40 bullets, and whenever you're using the explosive, you're getting 15. And of course, Starstone clip. Jesus, I can't say anything right. Starstone clip basically follows the same rules as her standard skill clip. So with the magazine, the extra effects, anything like that doesn't work with them. With her ultimate though, it's kind of useless. Basically, all it does is just deals kinetic damage and gives her damage reduction. Anyway, that's kind of disappointing because I was hoping like how her ult skill works is that it's gonna be like some off-field turret or something like that, but it's not. It is what it is. It's not that big of a deal. Her fucking Deimos alignment increases when she's equipped with kinetic damage. It increases the full squad's ballistic damage by, in my case, 10%, and for each 100 alignment index, it increases by an extra 1. I believe I have mine at level 3 because I don't have enough to fully max her out, nor do I really care to. I think it doesn't go up by much. Yeah, it goes up to like 12% afterwards, so I'm not gonna stress about it. Yeah, that's pretty much how she works. In terms of her neural skills, things do get a bit interesting with that. For her standard skill no longer has cooldown, and on top of that, it increases the bullets of the Star Gem clip provided by Days in Combat by 15%. So for the Ruby and the Sapphire clips, you go up to 45 bullets, and then with the gold, I believe it's 10, or not 10, 15 bullets. That's kind of big for DPSing her because the only thing limiting you from spamming it is the S energy. But even then, you could just use the Sapphire clip to regenerate S energy if you need it. But yeah, that's pretty much it about that one. Regarding her support skill, neural skills, when the deployed operative doesn't have Starstone clip and they deal crit hits or hit a weak spot, it decreases the cooldown of the support skill by 1 second and has a cooldown of 1 second. But more importantly, and I think this should be your number one priority if you don't know, is that the next one is charge stacks of her support skill increases to 3. And what this means is that you have 3 charges of her support skill that you can use, which is massive. Like that is the first one that you need to get, and then you go for the second neural skill for support skill. Again, if you don't know that, if you already haven't done that, this is massive in terms of like how you're going to use Fenny, or at least how I use Fenny whenever I use her. In terms of her ultimate skill, it's nothing really. Whenever you use her ultimate skill, Fenny restores S energy, and then the other neural skills that the damage dealt by her ultimate skill is affected by ballistic damage bonuses. It's really nothing because you're probably never using the supports or the ultimate skill again outside of main DPS and Fenny. But yeah, she's pretty straightforward basically in terms of like how her skills work. Regarding her manifestations, I loosely went over it, and I feel like maybe 2 is like good enough. I think 3 is a nice quality of life, but for most instances that I've used Fenny, I don't see myself using like the 3rd manifestation with the decrease in cooldowns. But or the S energy cost decrease, because I've never run into situations where I needed that. Or I think in Paradoxal Labyrinth I have, but it was like at the very end of the boss's health bar, so it was like completely unnecessary. So I think two might be the stopping point. And the reason why I'm saying that is that the first one, it provides bonus effects depending on the deployed operative's weapon. So for uh, sniper rifles, pistols, or crossbows, it increases final damage dealt to weak spots, which is kind of big in my opinion because of like how some characters work, like Yao, for example. I believe that you do an additional 15% to weak spots because you want to target weak spots with Yao. Plus, that's really how she works. When it comes to shotguns, you get an increase in number of pellets by one. I'm not sure how massive that is for DPS reasons. As the only other character that I could think that benefits from that would be Finny Coronet, but I don't own her in this account, and I haven't tested her on my NA account or my alt account. Um, so I'm 100% sure how good that really is. For assault rifles, submachine guns, or dual submachine guns, shots have a 12% chance to shoot two bullets without consuming additional ammo. This is kind of big for me because it's just for that one shot, it's just double damage. No complaining. And if you're using like the new life, like you're going to be shooting a lot anyway, so I'm pretty sure that's going to be kind of, I wouldn't say massive, but it's going to be really good. In terms of for M2 though, this one's big for me. It increases the ammo capacity of Starstone clip provided by support skill to 120% of the deployed operative's weapon and 3% or plus the 3% of Finney's weapon. And for crossbows, it goes up to 48 for normal firing and 18 for special firing. But I think that's probably the hard stopping point. Everything else seems to be quality of life. Like, again, M3 is just the cooldowns. I never run into a situation where I needed that. M4 is just, I guess, like an extra 2% to the attack bonus provided for her support skill. And then the M5, I believe this just increases Finney's personal damage. Or wait, no. Bullet. No, this is just, oh, that's interesting. So for her M5, all it does is that it adds an additional or each shot that comes out of like the special clips ignores 10% of the target's corresponding resistance. That looks good, but I'm not sure if that's worth like hard pushing for it. So yeah, in my opinion, I think M2 is perfect stopping point, but I could be wrong. I'm sure like the more knowledgeable Snowbreak players will be able to provide a better answer for that. Um, but yeah, that's basically how she works. She's very straightforward. You pretty much just spam the support skill at this. How I usually is like I use her by spamming the support skill at the start, and then when it gets close to, getting close to zero, I use it again, so that way I can maintain it up for a longer period of time. Um, but in terms of teams, though, I think that's the most interesting part for me, and this is why I like her a lot. So for teams, for example, of course, Life is going to be her best teammate, uh, in my opinion, just because I believe with my life and with the neural skills, you get like 100 and something bullets in the magazine, which is nice. Plus, it's again the reload or not having to reload after each clip empties is fucking massive for me because it's like it just saves time really, and it's gonna be really good on life as well because of not having to reload constantly. Another character I think would be good on, of course, Katya. Maybe I didn't test on Katya. I'm gonna be honest with you, but the extra attack could be nice for her. Um, where was it? Marion, I think, is probably going to be a sleeper option, especially with the weak spot thing from M1. Um, it does work with her, like the extra magazine. I loosely tested it earlier. My Marion obviously isn't good. I had completely forgot about her until today. Um, but if you are a Marion main, I imagine Finny would be a nice addition to her with the extra attack bonus and the additional magazine, most importantly. Because if you use Marion a lot and you don't have the Horn of Orca like I don't, um, you're going to run through ammunition very quickly. So not having to reload constantly will be very nice on Marion. Um, Yao is interesting because with the way Yao works, outside of M1, I don't see a reason to use her. But then again, I could be wrong. because you're not going to benefit much from the extra magazine size because you're going to be spamming a skill and that basically works like a reload for the weapon anyway if you're using Yao properly. Um, so Yao's interesting. Like she all she does is benefits from the attack and then the extra 15% ignore from M1. I would have to test her at that point. But it should be interesting. There's a lot I have to go into it. Maybe I'll make a video on it later because what I was curious about and I forgot to test it before I started recording is the interaction with Yao's ultimate. Like, does that extra bullet or the extra clip increase works with her ultimate? You know what? No, let's test this real quick. I'm probably gonna skip to the point where I can test it fully. So yeah, I'm just gonna cut to that when I get to the ultimate quickly, and then we'll figure it out from there. So yeah, I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. I have enough U energy for the ultimate, so let's figure out if it works like that. So yeah, I'm switch and then use a support skill, then pop the ultimate. Okay, so let's try again. It doesn't. Okay, that's interesting. So what happens if I use a shot? Yes, she doesn't work with Yao. That's crazy. Okay, so I don't think she's a good pick for Yao. I'm gonna be honest. Well, I'm guessing if you use Yao with Test, she's not a good option. Anyway, let me head back. Well, the last team I want to talk about, this one's if you want to be quirky, Cherno. Hear me out. I don't have Test, obviously, and why I'm saying Cherno is that I know Finny is not a good pick, or the optimal pick. But not having to reload, I fully believe helps with Cherno stacking very quickly. So with that in mind, I honestly think Finny is not the worst option for Cherno. If you lack any other supports and you don't have any other character that works with Finny, Cherno actually might not be a terrible option, especially with the M1. I'm not 100% sure on this, but I wouldn't be too surprised if that extra shot helps with an extra stack towards Cherno's support or not support skill, her standard skill. So if you want to be quirky, you want to be a little bit different. Finny and Cherno is actually a pretty good option. Only because of that reload. I don't think she gains any other benefit from Finny. But yeah. All that being said, Finny's great, actually. By this, with the whole Yao situation. This is not even should you summon. This is is she even worth using? and yeah, she is. Even if you don't have life, there's so many other characters you can use her with. Quite honestly, she's great. So far, Snowbreak is 2 for 2 with these free characters. Very loosely at the end though, in terms of a weapon, I'm not 100% sure if it's worth going for. I'm gonna leave that up to the number nerds. I'm sure, again, Archive is probably gonna have a video out, if not already, sometime soon, showcasing various weapons. But if the second part of the weapons passive works how I think it works, when it ignores the 12% of target's corresponding resistance, this might honestly worth be summoning for if you have extra summons. I would say hold off on using my opinion to justify spending for or summoning for this weapon. Wait till Archive or any of the other more well-knowledged Snowbreak YouTubers make a video. But that second sentence alone makes me consider summoning for this, ignoring everything else. This looks crazy, honestly. So I can't wait to see what the number nerds come out with with regards to her weapon. Other than that, that's all I have to say. I do apologize for the long video. Didn't expect the yap for this long, but hey, Snowpeak or Snowbreak be doing some crazy shit. All right. Anyway, if you do like the way I do things around here, do consider subscribing. If not, that's all right. But other than that, Thank you everybody for watching, especially anybody who's watched through this whole video. Yeah, I see you all later. I hope that you have a great day. So yeah, Snowbreak, keep doing what you're doing.